Ladies and gentlemen, a new snapshot for Minecraft Java Edition 1.14 The Village and Pillage update has been released. My name is slicedlime. I'm here to take you on a comprehensive look of all of the changes and new things in Minecraft 19w07a. Let's start with mobs, because a brand new one has been added in this version. It's the fox from the taiga biome, one of the things voted for by the community at the latest Minecon Earth. The fox is a passive mob. It is nocturnal, meaning that it is active at night, and it comes in two variants, the red fox and the snow fox. You can breed foxes by giving them berries, and their offspring, if you do so, will trust you forever, otherwise they are quite shy and might run away if you approach too quickly. If they find a food item on the ground, they can carry it around in their mouths, and they then sometimes eat the food that they are carrying around. Sometimes they spawn with an item in their mouth too, like a piece of wheat or a leather item. In this case, if they find another piece of food, they will drop the item that they were carrying and trade it for the piece of food. They can eat any food, including poisonous potatoes and rotten flesh, without suffering any ill effects. At night, when the fox is awake and there is a village nearby, they will sometimes go exploring in that village. In the daytime, they sometimes curl up in a little ball to have a nap. Other behaviors include hunting for chickens and rabbits, and they are hunted in turn by wolves, but they seem to run faster than wolves. They can also jump very high, which means that they can jump into fenced-in areas if you have chickens in a pen, for instance. If you kill them, they do not drop anything, except possibly whatever they had in their mouths. And that's enough about the cute little foxes. Let's move on to other mob changes. Cats would go into sitting mode after bringing you a morning gift that's fixed in this version. And if you spawned a baby cat using a spawn egg, then you would only get one variant of them that is fixed in this version as well. Tamed cat would sneak towards the player if you were holding the fish that is supposed to only be for untamed cat, and tamed cats can now instead be healed by giving them raw fish, that is raw salmon or cod. In villages, cats will spawn, but they could also sometimes spawn in the middle of a block that's fixed in the snapshot. Speaking of villages, if you hit a panda near a village, the village would detect this as a hostile action, which meant that if there was an iron golem around, then it could become hostile and attack you. Finally, a fix for an enemy mob, the drowned with a trident can throw the trident, but they would throw it backwards. That's fixed in this snapshot. Let's speak about blocks and items. The new barrel block has now got an open state. It doesn't animate, but it switches textures between open and close, so you can see if another player has opened a barrel. Scaffolding blocks will use the distance value for its pillar rather than the shortest distance. That's fixed in this snapshot. And if you broke or blew up a campfire, then sometimes there would still be smoke particles coming from that campfire. Also, if the game lagged, then campfires would produce a massive amount of particles, which could lag the game further. And finally, in the blocks and items section, if you had a falling block land on snow layers, then those snow layers would break, even if they were fully stacked a full block. Let's talk about one single visual bug fixed in this snapshot. Crossbows would not render in first person if you were invisible. That's fixed in this version. Sound fixes too. Fox sounds, of course, they have a sound for when they become aggressive. A bite sound. A sound for eating. Idling sounds. Snoring sounds for when they are sleeping. They have a bark or yap sound. Sniffing about sound. Spitting sounds. A hurt sound. And a sound for dying. In the previous snapshot, the composter sounds were swapped around. That's fixed in the snapshot. And the narrator is now available inside of menus. Press Ctrl and B to activate it just like you would in-game, and as you cycle through the modes, if you have it in System mode or All mode, then the narrator will read what you're hovering if you're hovering over a slider or a button.
Narrator narrates all. Back to game button.
Now let's move on to worlds and world generation. There were a number of bugs in the generation of the new type of villages. Roofs of plains blacksmiths got cut off, that's fixed in this snapshot. And loot tables didn't apply properly to barrels, and with that, the fisher huts have now been updated so that they do have a loot table, and that loot table contains emeralds, cod, salmon, water buckets, barrels, wheat seeds, and coal. And speaking of the new villages, the last 3 types of new villages have been added into this version. Those are zombie versions of plains, savanna, and snowy villages. If you haven't watched my previous update videos, a short background might be in order. These new villages are generated by a new system called the Jigsaw system. It is made up of pieces that get puzzled together, that's why they're called Jigsaw, and every village type is made up of a whole bunch of different types of structures. I have display worlds for all of these, and they have of course been updated for the new village types and the changes to villages in this version as well. We're gonna start out by looking at the zombie version of the Plains village, so this will be built together by jigsaw pieces and then populated by zombie villagers. Do keep in mind that there's some form of decay system, it seems to be run by code, so if you find a zombie Plains village in the game, you will most likely find it in a much more decayed state. Anyway, the street pieces for zombie plains villages. There are 3 types of corner pieces, you can see them here. These are very similar to the normal plains villages. Then there are 6 crossroad pieces. 3 of them big and 3 of them small. And then 6 straight street pieces. You might recognize these from the normal plains villages as well. And then finally 1 turn piece. There are 5 different meeting points, the same ones as in the normal plains villages. These will be decayed, and these 2 for some reason are in the house category. So if you go looking through the files, the last 2 pieces here are in the house category. Then there's 1 animal pen, looks like this, and 1 stable building, looks like this, and these will then be decayed. 1 big house, that's this one, 2-story house, 2 medium houses. We're not going to go into them all because they all look very similar to the plains houses, but if you want to see the details you can download this world and have a look. And then there are 8 small houses. And those were the ones. Now, one big difference between the zombie version of the plains village and the normal plains village is that there are many fewer versions of the specialist houses. This one is a butcher's house, here we have a Fletcher's house, and this is a shepherd's house. And those 3 are the only type of specialist houses in this type of village. Then we have all of the types of villagers. They're the same for all of the zombie village types, but they have different skins on them. If you don't remember, they are the armorer, the butcher, the cartographer, the cleric, the farmer, the fisherman, the Fletcher, the leather worker, the librarian, the nitwit, the shepherd, the toolsmith, the one just called unemployed, and the weaponsmith. Those were all of the pieces for zombie plains villages. So let's get on to the next one, which is the zombie version of savanna villages, also added in this snapshot. It has 2 corner pieces only, and then 6 crossroads. 2 splits, they look like this, split versions of streets, and then 8 straight street pieces. And then finally, 1 small turn piece. And there it is. It has 4 meeting points or town centers. These look very similar to the normal non-zombified version, but remember they will be decayed if you find them in game. There are 2 types of animal pens for this one. They look like this, and 1 farm. It is the large farm version that has been brought over from the non-zombie village. In addition to that, there are 2 medium houses. One looks like this, kind of 2 houses in one, and one looks like this. And then there are 8 types of small houses, all of them very, very similar to the non-zombie versions for savanna villages. And this type has no specialist houses at all. We go directly to the villagers, and again they are an armorer, a butcher, a cartographer, a cleric, a farmer, a fisherman, a fletcher, a leatherworker, a librarian, a nitwit, a shepherd, a toolsmith, the one simply called unemployed, and a weaponsmith. The final, completely new type of village in this snapshot is the zombie version of the snowy village. It has 3 corner types of streets. Noteworthy here is how this is remarkably unsnowy. I don't know exactly if these are supposed to take away the snow, or if they're supposed to spawn into the ground, but they currently do take away the snow. There are 3 corners, 2 of them a big one like this and 1 small one. There are 6 crossroads out of the 8 that are available for the non-zombie version. One piece is called a square, not sure how this connects entirely, and then 6 straight street pieces. And just like the previous ones, there's 1 small turn piece. This one has 3 meeting points. They are the ice pillar versions, very similar to, or identical to even, the non-zombie versions, but they will be decayed systematically. And then we have 3 medium houses. And again, 8 small houses. And these all should be very familiar if you've seen the snowy villages in my videos before. Again, this one has no specialist houses, but we have all of the village types: an armorer, a butcher, a cartographer, a cleric, a farmer, a fisherman, a fletcher, leatherworker, librarian, nitwit, shepherd, toolsmith, the unemployed, and the weaponsmith. But we're not quite done with the village updates quite yet. We have updates to the desert villages. The medium house number 2 has been updated. They are pretty far apart now because there's 1 row per update here, but I actually have not been able to tell exactly what the difference is between these, so if you find some difference, then please let me know, and let everybody else know down in the comments. The small house number 1 and number 2 have also been updated. These are more easy to see. This one has had the connecting part added here and a torch added on the side, so it's now 1 bigger. And the second one, if we can enter here, has had some changes to its carpet indoors. And then we also have 1 change over here to the butcher's shop. This one again has had some more light, some torches added out on the wall here outside. For completeness, we'll also look at the zombie desert village. You will recognize that these are exactly the same houses, have exactly the same changes, but of course there's no butcher shop, so that hasn't been updated here. And now we're in the plains village, where this one, the meeting point, has been updated. There's lots of update rows in this one too, but if we go all the way over here, we can see that it also has had a bunch of torches added into it. Then there are a bunch of updates to the houses here. The big house number 1 has had an update, and as far as I can tell, this is just a bug fix to this connecting jigsaw piece here. So this probably just bug fixes this house generating properly and not so much its actual content. And that goes for more of them. This is the medium house number 1, and then we have the small houses number 2, 3, and 8. We have updates to some of the specialist buildings as well. This one is the armorer's house. Over here we have the fisher's cottage. This one is a little bit interesting because it has more of a change. You can see how this pool here around it is kind of rounded in this version, whereas if we go over here, this one is very square. Then we also have an update to the Fletcher's house, the tool smithy, and the weapon smithy. Again, pretty small changes. This one has had a torch added out there, and this one has had its roof extended by 1 block. You can see if we place the camera right here, you can see that the old version was entirely cut off and flat, where this one sticks out 1 block. And then finally over here we have the 2 meeting place town center things that are in the house category, and these as well have had their grass shuffled about a little bit and some torches added. And the final village type changed in this version is the savanna villages. You will find all of the types of villages, including those that weren't changed, in a download link in the video description if you want to take a look for yourself. First change in this one was the first type of meeting point. If we go all the way over here, you can see that this one now has a couple of torches added into it. And then we have small houses. If we go way over here, number 2, 4, 5, and 7. Also very, very small changes, mostly bug fixes and some added lights. Then we have the Savannah Library, also has torches added out in front of it. And way over here, the Tannery and Tool Smithy also have some connecting fixes and torches added above the doorways. Finally, let's look at map making and pack making. The startup screen, the loading screen, can now once again be customized by resource packs. Paintings have been split up, their textures are no longer one big texture file, they're now their own individual file, so you will have to update your resource pack if you have that, but the benefit is you can now override them individually and they can be animated just like other textures can be. The cat_morning_gift loot table was in the wrong place. It was in the entities folder. Now it is in the gameplay folder, so if you have that overridden, you'll have to move it in your pack. And finally, a command fix /force load was being suggested to non-operator players. That's fixed in the snapshot. Now, those were all the changes. If you try this version, keep in mind that it is a snapshot, they are experimental and can contain unknown bugs, and you can never downgrade a world once you've played it on a snapshot. So be careful, play this on a separate test world or on a backup of your world. If you don't know how to get and play a snapshot, then click on the card on this video right now. It will take you to a tutorial video about how to get the snapshot. And that was all from me for this time. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please help me out in return and leave a like. If you want to stay up to date with all of the latest snapshot and update news for Minecraft, then please subscribe to my channel where I do update videos for every single snapshot and update released. And make sure to remember to hit that bell to get notified of every new video as it is done. Thank you for watching, my name is slicedlime, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, bye bye.